Let's start the Sewer Utility District Commission meeting.
Just started video games.
Call it to order and do the roll call, please.
Commissioner Strelchek is excused. Commissioner Talaco. Commissioner Meyer. Commissioner Hancher.
Here.
Commissioner Bach.
Here.
Commissioner Parrish.
Here.
Commissioner Bratt is excused. Commissioner Gebhardt. And Commissioner Nervin.
Here. First up is approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting, which the date is not in the agenda. I'll look real quickly.
So moved.
Second.
The minutes from 8:12. Motion and a second. Any comments, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Minutes are approved. On to ordinances. Ordinance 2025-1684, an ordinance appropriating the necessary funds from the City of Mequon Sewer Utility District for the year 2026 for capital charge payments to the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District and City of Mequon capital debt service requirements.
Sorry, I'm getting a little feedback. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's a little echoey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll deal with it for a minute, and someone better capable than I will go through. As a reminder, the sewer levy is frozen in terms of an amount per the policy, and so the ordinance is the levy requesting approval.
Hold on, the great and powerful Oz is fixing the microphones. Does anyone have any questions? I think this microphone is okay. You may recall we've capped the levy because of its impact on the rest of the city's ability to levy as a whole. So the rate changes, but the dollar amount is flat. So there's not a whole lot to discuss, unless we want to change our policy we decided on last year. Looks like some supplemental info is about to be displayed.
Only if needed. We're happy to go through, and the finance department can correct me on anything I speak to that is incorrect, but the history of the annual debt service was available. It is trending in the maybe good direction, as we hope, with the debt decreasing as we move towards payoff. And so this is the levy comparison for the 2025 fiscal year versus the 2026 fiscal year. Which again shows that the amount has been frozen. It does just shift a portion of the funding because MMSD is transitioning its costs from more capital heavy to O&M heavy. And so we balance that out with the City of Mequon's portion to keep that levy frozen.
Any questions from the commission? Or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion required? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Talaco. Aye. Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hancher.
Aye.
Commissioner Bach.
Aye.
Commissioner Parrish.
Aye.
Commissioner Gebhardt.
Aye.
Commissioner Nervin.
Aye. On to resolutions. Resolution 4238, a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2026 sanitary sewer utility budget and establishing the 2026 sanitary sewer user fee schedule.
So unlike the water budget, we do contemplate both the budget, which is in your packet, and the user rates. You all may recall that there are two forms of user rates, the flat rate and the volumetric rate. Consistent with the policy, the rates are proposed to increase until we can meet the debt financing, the debt service ratio. And so it is consistent at that 5.5% increase that was otherwise proposed, increasing to $95 for the flat and $8 and 0.811 cents for the volumetric rate. The budget provides not only the O&M costs, but also cap. At this point, unlike what we've seen in years past, we are not projecting sufficient unassigned funds that we are requesting for any allocation. So we will keep that as the policy otherwise requires for us. And so we are here tonight requesting the approval of both the budget and the rates to pass through effective January 1st of 2026. We obviously have some large capital projects on the horizon. Most of you are aware the Lift Station E project will be bid at this point likely in first quarter of next year. And that is a sizable project that, thanks to our transition in the policy and funding, we will be able to self-fund and not be required to borrow for that project. We have a number of other capital projects as well, but that is certainly the most impactful, both financially and to the system, to continue to alleviate surcharging on the east side of the city.
Fantastic. Thanks for that overview. And certainly good news that we'll be able to self-fund it. Any questions from the commission on this item? Or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any last comments? This is your only chance. Okay. Hearing and seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Tlaco? Aye. Commissioner Meyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Hancher?
Aye.
Commissioner Bach?
Aye.
Commissioner Parrish?
Aye.
Commissioner Gebhardt?
Aye.
Commissioner Nervin?
Aye. We have a sewer budget. Amazing. We have just one discussion item, a discussion concerning public sewer lateral reimbursement policy.
We're really before you just to try to take the temperature of the commission and ensure before we generate any sort of policy language to present at a future meeting that we have consensus that we should consider a cost share policy. For those that are not aware, sewer laterals, which is the pipe that goes from the main line to the home, are divided in the city of Mequon, unlike most municipalities, where the ownership for the public portion of the lateral is that which is located within the right-of-way, as opposed to the private side where it transitions at the property line and then is the homeowner's responsibility from that point until the home. We have seen not a large number, but an increasing number of sanitary sewer lateral projects that you may not be surprised don't magically stop at the property line. And so they require work both on the public side and on the private side. Historically, we've looked at a number of different options concerning cost shares. Sometimes it is literally divided at the property line and we just have the residents take care of their portion, and then we add it to our capital list to address once we get a volume to reach some cost efficiencies. But we've seen some not only where it would be a benefit to the system as a whole for it to be treated as one pipe as it is, but also just some logistical issues where the separation of costs can't be defined by the property line. So we're looking for the commission's feedback on its willingness to consider a public lateral reimbursement policy where if there is a defined scope of work and potentially a threshold of a dollar amount, if the commission so desires, that we would be able to set forth some policy language that would define how reimbursement would be addressed for the public portion of the lateral. We have a number of considerations in there. Obviously, we would want to be able to define what types of projects are eligible, what types of properties are eligible, what reimbursement costs would be considered, whether or not there would be caps on those costs, and any restrictions that we have on funding or or process and policies. But at this point, we wanted to bring forth, mostly at the request of MMSD, they have a pipe check program that they offer to residents that really only covers the private portion of the lateral, and they were looking for a companion piece from the city for the public portion, but it really shouldn't matter whether people are participating in, well, from our perspective, it shouldn't really matter whether people are participating in the pipe check program or not. The portion in the right of way is the city's or the sewer utility's ultimate responsibility to fund. And so we're looking to seek some feedback on having a policy that would allow for reimbursement when the city may not be the contract holder for the project to be completed.
So this would allow residents to get the whole thing done at once,
Yes.
instead of having to do their portion and us having to come back months, years later.
Yeah, more often years, but yes.
Seems like something that would be a benefit to our customers and maybe even us if we don't have to manage those.
Yes, there is certainly, again, we would typically, and part of the reason it takes years is we would typically wait until there are a number of laterals to reach a cost efficiency of issuing either a contract or a bid for lateral work. And depending on where they are located, that may not be cost efficient anyway. If there are multiple mobilizations for the contractor, each individual one just becomes more expensive to address. We would typically see two different types. One is certainly an emergency where we may not be consulted ahead of time, that it's just something that has to be done in the moment, whether that may be root intrusion that has resulted in a sewer backup or whether that may be damage. But we would, if the commission agrees, we would try to set some policy language that would set the parameters under which reimbursement would be considered, so that we don't have either a large financial obligation hanging out there, and so that we can have some metrics and control over the standards of what would be completed on the public portion of the lateral.
Okay, thank you. Any other feedback from the commission? Generally, I think this is appropriate for a straw poll here. Who thinks this is generally a good idea and should proceed? And obviously the guidelines will be written as we go, but if we don't think it's a good idea, then don't devote staff time to doing the guidelines. So show of hands, who thinks this should go forward and have some parameters written around it? Okay. I think you've got your direction.
I do.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for that. That brings us to the end of the sewer meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Glad there's no one opposed.